Hi, this is Abdul Sattar with the Rising Star YouTube channel. Some immigrants in the UK try to prove themselves more loyal than the king. This is the situation with Zia Yusuf, who is one of the top leaders of the Reform Party. His family himself is an immigrant, but he seems to be very tough on that. Similarly, there are some right wing anchors and YouTubers who also try to prove that they are more loyal than the king. And they peddle, in a way, the propaganda of the far right. Among them, of course, there are some Jewish YouTubers. One of them is Konstantin Kisin. And he also, if you listen to his speeches and if you listen to his comments, it creates an impression that he peddles the propaganda of the far right, or at least appears to be subscribing to their ideas on the issue of immigrants. But he should not forget he did invite Tommy Robinson to his YouTube channel, and it was widely watched. And apparently, the two immigrants, he and another guy, Francis, I think he's from Venezuela, they appeared to be very happy that they had a far right leader who was spewing venom against immigrants in one way or another way, and in a way holding immigrants, especially Muslim, responsible for all ills of the British society, as if there were no crimes before the arrival of immigrants. For instance, in 19th century, the percentage of immigrant was almost zero, a bit over 0%, and more than 5,000 murders took place in 19th century alone. And in the same way, if you go to 18th century, there were still crimes. There were horrible crimes against the white working class, with the white working class cramped into shanty towns, and the white capitalist class ruthlessly exploiting white working class, with the kids as old as 12 or 11 maybe working for 10 hours or 9 hours. Even pregnant women used to work. And the white capitalist class or aristocrats were so contemptuous towards the poor white that more or less they described them as trash. And there was a famous book, White Trash, which I highly recommend to Konstantin, that he should go through that book. So Konstantin, uh, peddles the far right propaganda according to his critics, ignoring the fact that he himself is an immigrant from Russia, and the other guy, Francis, from Venezuela. And if he really wants to know the reality, he did invite Tommy Robinson. Now he should try to watch the Unite the Kingdom rally comments. I think he did go there, but there were some other anchors and YouTubers who interviewed the participants. And quite a few participants did say that they want 100% white British, which clearly excludes people like Constantine and Francis. And Constantine should also invite a guy who has been, I think, on UK pod, and another podcast conducted by a Jewish guy. And he told that Jewish guy very clearly, you do not belong in here. You have to go back. You should go back to uh, Israel. And the Jewish YouTuber clearly told him, he said he was born in the UK. He was a British. He said, no, you're not British. You don't belong in here. You have to go back to Israel. So this is the type of mentality. Now Constantine should invite the same guy to his podcast, and he should try to know what are his views about people like Constantine, who are moving hell and heaven to prove that they are more loyal than the king. Now, as far as immigration is concerned, where would you draw a line? I mean, Anglo-Saxon tribe themselves were not English. They were invited by the indigenous people to prevent some attacks, and later on they just settled here, occupying the land. So when you talk about expulsion of immigrants, would you say that Anglo-Saxon should also be sent back to Denmark, or part of northern Germany, or parts of Germany from where they arrive to this part of the country? There were many people who came from northern France. Would you send them back to northern France? In the same way, what about indigenous people of the Americas? The biggest migration, or one of the biggest migrations of human history, took place from Europe to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United States, and of course, Americas in general. Some estimates go to the extent of claiming 60 million people over the decades migrated from 1492 onward to those areas. So the real and indigenous people of those lands, as they also run a podcast or broad on TikTok where they say that no one is illegal on stolen land. So they think that the Europeans have stolen the lands in the Americas. You see, they greatly transform entire society. I mean, today, South and Central America and North America, it is overwhelmingly Christian. So Francis Pizarro, Cortez, they were all immigrants who went there. Christopher Columbus, he was an immigrant who went there. So once you subscribe to the ideas of these far right people, you should not assume that you would be spared. Constantine should not assume that if there is a government of right wing, and then there are different brands within right wing groups, and you see that uh, once you have a far right leader who may appears to be moderate, the next one would be more hardliner. I mean, this is the case in India. You could see Vajpayee was moderate. Then the current prime minister, according to critics, Modi, is considered more hardliner, and his successor, possible successor, Yogi Adityanath, who is the chief minister of UP, according to his critics, he is more hardliner than Modi. So, in the same way, Tommy Robinson may pretend no, he's against Muslim only, and only particular groups of Muslim. He's not against all immigrants. He's not opposed to white. He is not opposed to black. He's not opposed to Indians. He's not opposed to other people. There are people within his ranks who do not want any immigrant at all. Even Nigel Farage said a long time ago that he didn't want immigrants from Europe as well. So these far right activists, first they raised the slogans uh, that Europeans coming from European Union, they are taking away their jobs. Brexit took place long time ago. They did not benefit. No one benefited. On the other hand, British economy suffered. Now they have already pulled out of the European Union. Now they are targeting Pakistanis or Muslims and other immigrants. Tomorrow they would be targeting blacks. They would be targeting, people from other parts of the world, maybe Indian, Sri Lankans, and uh, people like Constantine should not live in fool's paradise. They should not assume that once this hatred directed towards immigrants has been triggered by anyone, it would stop at some point. One day it's going to engulf people like Constantine and Francis, because there are elements with Tommy Robinson, there are elements in the far right circles who want every immigrant to be kicked out, including Constantine, Kisin, and people like Francis and the Jewish YouTuber that I have just talked about. And it is recorded, you can watch that. And this guy, uh, he's considered the most racist guy of the UK. He recently appeared on another podcast, and you need to listen to his comments. They are not very encouraging. They are not going to spare anyone, including Kisin. So when people like Konstantin Kisin try to become more loyal than the king, they should pause and think about the uh, consequences of the ideas that they are trying to spread or that they subscribe to.